All right, my guest today for the Self-Developed Life podcast is Mitch Miller, who is basically an all-around authority expert, entrepreneur, and author of Consulting Exposed, which I have a copy here on my desk. Brilliant book, by the way. And copywriter who charges his clients as much as $100,000 to write sales copy for their sales, advertising, and marketing material. So you will definitely want to listen and learn from his tips and techniques, as they have literally generated millions of dollars in revenue for his clients. Furthermore, Mitch is a colorful character. Kind of reminds me of a little more raw and authentic street version of Gary Vaynerchuk. And just like how Gary hustles, Mitch also does, doing scheduled 50 interviews this month. So Mitch, welcome to the show, brother. I know your time is limited today, so let's get started.
Thanks, dude. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Metaphorically.
Yeah. So I'm stoked to say my first ever guest. This is a new Self-Developed Life podcast I'm rolling out to have you here. So maybe we can get right into it by starting out how you got started in business and have been able to scale up to a somewhat staggering number like that, which is super inspiring.
Thanks, man. It took forever. It took 11 years of trying. When I was 21, I had a heart attack from too much partying. I was in a rock band and we just, things are fucking crazy. Once I had the heart attack, I got out and I thought, okay, man, I need to do something with my life. For whatever reason, I don't even know. I was like, I want to get into business. I want to do business. I want to become a millionaire. Like, this was the whole thing. So I didn't know how. I didn't know where to start. Fucked if I remember how I got on my first book, but I believe it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that opened up, all the possibilities, because you don't even know. If you don't even know what's possible, then, you don't even know what you don't even know. So he opened up possibilities, I think. And then it was like a month later, something with Tony Robbins, a book. And I was like, holy shit, like, this is insane. And then it just kind of went down the rabbit hole from there. Wayne Dyer, all these guys, it was like hardcore self-help. And then it turned into business. Because the more you get into self-help, the more you realize that the control and the fun is in having your own business and all that. I think it was Tony Robbins in the 90s had a Power Talk interview series where every month he'd interview somebody from a different industry who's like top of the top, because that's what he does. And he interviewed Jay Abraham, who is one of the greatest marketing minds who ever lived, if not the greatest marketing mind. He's insane. And he interviewed Jay Abraham, and I was fucking hooked. And so that's when I went down the marketing rabbit hole, and I was like, marketing is what I want to do. Marketing. Yeah. And so I tried to start many different type of like actual marketing business, doing services for people, and really failing miserably for years and years and years. Tried to start many businesses on my own, different landscaping businesses, all sorts of different things, and just couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it, man, because I was still the same person. A lot of people, they're like, that's it. I'm going to get in business, or I'm going to make my online business work, or I'm going to become a copywriter, or I'm going to do this. It's like, that's great. You're going to do that, but you're still you. Yeah. So if the you is a fucking failure, then that's fine. It's just there's like, you can't speed up time. You can't just be like, okay, I just learned the secrets. Now I'm that person. No, you learned the secrets, but you're still you. So it took me a good 10 years to figure out how to be the best version of me, how to be someone who's actually capable of doing things. Because I failed so many times. It's like a video game. Like, you get to level 1, you fucking fail. Then you get a little further, fail. Get to level 3. It's like, in order to beat the game, you got to die a lot of times, but you eventually get further and further and inch it along. And that's kind of how it happened with me.
That's a great illustration metaphor for it. I think a lot of people that start on the self-development route first before the business end up being able to sustain longer, because they have the mindset and vision and leadership abilities that a lot of people that focus on business first don't. And I heard you say something that you don't know what you don't know. That's Landmark Forum Talk. Have you done Landmark?
No, I haven't, but I'm familiar with their approach through because they used to, if you remember Est from the 80s. Similar. Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, I think they kind of borrowed that whole thing. Maybe Scientology borrowed some stuff from both of those. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I did. I was working for a big personal development company for 3 years, and that was kind of like my big breakthrough, I guess, to really start diving into like the law of attraction, The Secret, and did a lot of things. Like, I did like the Vipassana 10-day silent meditation retreat like a couple times, and that's nice. I think that's like the definition of self-mastery, man. Locking yourself into a little, monastery for 10 days, waking up at 4 a.m. and not talking, no eye contact, no reading,
Wow.
writing for 10 days, man. And people freaked out. Like, you would hear people at night literally like crying, and then the next day they're just gone. So you kind of
Wow.
start you kind of start with like a group of like maybe 50 people, and then by the end of it there's like 20 left. Like, it's like every day people kind of lose it and drop out. But I've done it a couple times, and it's like the ultimate personal development kind of, it's the ultimate vacation too, because you're unplugged, you're in this retreat, and you have no access
Wow.
to a phone, you have no they strip you when you go in. You can't take a book, any writing material. It's just you, your clothes, your toiletries, and that's it. And
Wow. In the
yeah,
truest sense of the word, it's a vacation. It's a vacation from your own
yeah,
mind even.
yeah, yeah. It's great, man. I did it in a couple different countries, and I've recommended it to a lot of my clients, and they all come back and they're just like, wow, that's the most intense and results, based package they've ever done. So yeah, and it's the craziest thing. It's free. You just go there and you make a donation. It's like 10 days of accommodation, incredible like vegetarian food, stuff like that. So yeah, if you ever needed the ultimate unplug session, I recommend it.
Yes. I'm sold, brother. I'm sold. I'm going to do it.
Maybe after this, 50 interviews you're doing, it'll be time to go into
That's right.
silence for 10 days.
That's
Um,
right. That's right.
Well, I'm curious, when you meet someone new, what's your 30-second elevator pitch? Like, how do you tell them who you are and what you do?
Mm, that's fascinating because I teach people to have an elevator pitch, but I
That's what I
really
was going
don't
to
have,
ask you. That
you
was
know,
my follow-up question.
I don't use my own advice there. I really have so little to prove at this point to anyone that
Mhm.
I really don't like to just, I don't spiel anything out. I just, unless they prod and prod and prod, because the whole thing is like, I learned this from Orrin Claff actually in the book Pitch Anything. He's like, you want to have like 4 different versions of your elephant pitch, 4 different versions of your elevator pitch, so
Yeah.
that you don't want to just spit the whole thing out of someone at, oh, hey, what do you do? And you just spit the whole fucking thing out and you seem autistic. It's like, wow. Or you just seem like some greasy, like insurance salesman or something. It's like, you just say, oh, I help people build businesses. Like that could be like the part 1 of your elevator pitch. And if they say, okay, cool, or they start talking about themselves, well then, hey, there you go. But if they say, oh, really? What do you mean? Like with their and then you can expand upon it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I keep it very simple, and I really don't care because like I do enough online and everything we're going that I don't need new clients. I don't need new fans. I don't need new nothing. And
Yeah.
so having that attitude is cool because it allows you to just chat with someone. It's like, what do you do? Oh, I just, I help people with their business and stuff. Anyway, what do you do? Like, or talk about like that hot chick in the corner or something. It's like, just be a
Right.
normal human being and chat. And if we get into that, we get into that. But I don't like to all of a sudden just be like, yeah, let's elevator pitch it.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally agree. Just be authentic and raw. And I think that's what I mentioned earlier in the intro, that you do kind of remind me of Gary Vaynerchuk, how you guys are both just very authentic and raw. And I'm curious, do you think a lot of his notoriety and kind of exposure is because he drops a lot of, saying fuck every second word, dropping a lot of F-bombs in his videos? Do you think that's one of the main reasons he, and maybe perhaps yourself, because you kind of have that similar kind of, outgoing, politically incorrect way in a field of coaches and consultants who really are politically correct? Do you think that that's kind of a way to kind of, peacock a little bit?
Maybe, but it's also like I think it's the authenticness and the no filter is what makes it work. Like a guy like Brendan Burchard, who's like who you'd never swear, and he's so straight laced. Yet he has far more success than I do, and all of that. And I think that it comes down to he's authentically just without a filter, just doing his thing. Like the brakes are off and the fucking gas is on full, and he doesn't have to swear to have the same impact. It's like what's that song by Eminem, The Real Slim Shady? He says Will Smith doesn't have to cuss in his raps to sell records.
But
I do. So fuck him and fuck you too.
Yeah.
And so it's the if people really love the fact it's you can call it authenticness, you can call it rawness. I call it having your personality with no brakes on. Like if you have the brake and the gas on at the same time, you know what I mean? It's like, but these people, like guy like Gary V, you know, he could have the same effect if he never swore, but he's still him. And
Yeah,
for whatever reason, he just didn't cuss. People would love him just the same.
Yeah, I agree. One thing you mentioned about you have a full slate of, you know, you're not taking on new clients, you got a full schedule. A lot of people here are probably in the opposite situation, looking for new business. I've got your book here on my desk, Consulting Exposed. Man, it's like highlighted to the max here. What would be a couple things for people listening to help them generate new business? Because, you know, first of all, go read that book because it'll help you a lot. But having you here, what are a couple main points that you kind of advise people to generate new business and bring on new clients? And what I really like you talk about is your pricing points, how to set it high. So maybe just touch on that.
So like the cool thing, the consultant thing is different than most business owners or most salespeople. It's got to be come at from a different place. And what I mean is that consultants and coaches specifically, there's this weird thing that if a consultant or coach asks for business or says they're available or reaches out in any way, all of a sudden people are running the fuck away very fast because they know that a consultant or a coach is a one-man operation and they don't have that much time in a day. So if your day isn't full already with people, then there must be something wrong with you. That's the default thought going on in their brain, is if he's not full already and if there's no waiting list for him, how good can he be? Because there's a million people in our market and he's claiming to be popular. That means his time should be full instantly. And so this is the weird thing, is people want someone who's not available immediately. So that's why a lot of this, like supply and demand, and a lot of this, there's a big chicken and the egg dilemma. And so Dan Kennedy taught me a long time ago, a lot of this business is a cart before the horse. And so there's a perceived supply and demand thing that has to happen, where you need to, you know, I mean, as terrible as this may sound to people, and, you know, if this offends you, then, you know, cry about it in the corner. But the fact that I said earlier, you know, I'm not really looking for clients. I don't really care. I'm good. I'm good. You know, that's what the new guy should probably say too.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's true or not.
It's kind of like the thing, be the person that has the results, and then do the thing to get that, you know, like it's putting the cart before the horse.
And if you don't want to lie, because I get that, like, you don't need to lie. You can just say, listen, I don't need clients. I don't need business. I'm good. That is not a lie if you truly believe that. And it's not saying you're full. You never said you were full. You said, I'm good. I don't need, because the truth is you don't need any one client. There's a million fucking, like, you know, that the attitude of that I need a client is what's going to kill you from getting them, because people want what they can't have and all that. So, and then as far as, I'm just rattling fast because we have barely any time, but as far as like the pricing thing, it's like, you go read the first chapter, the first principle of Cialdini, the book Influence, where he talks about people equate price with, like, there's a study done where they had different bottles of red wine and they did a blind taste test, and they took like all of these wines were like $5 wines, but they put on the label, and they made you think that this was $100 wine, this is $1,000 wine, this is a $5 wine, and they mix them all up and they make you sip them and drink them. You're drinking the same wine, but people, and they hooked up MRI scans to the brain, and people actually had more pleasure drinking the wine that they believed was more expensive.
Very interesting.
And yeah, dude, I mean, so the fact, if you want your clients to love you more, if you want them to respect you more, if you want them to have a better experience with you, then charge them more.
Yeah, gotcha. No, I totally get that. You are based in Asia. How long have you been out here, and how long are you planning on staying here?
We went out here just on vacation because we got a cheap flight to Bangkok a couple years ago, and I haven't really left. I mean, we've come back to the US, we've come back to Canada and Mexico and stuff like that for seminars that we've done or to see family. But Asia I love Asia more than I love North America. It's just straight up better. I mean, there's just more of everything. It's cheaper, more luxurious. People, like, the more culture. I mean, it's just, you can't beat it. We're gonna be here for the conceivable future.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. I came out here, I'm a big traveler. I've been to about 35 countries, and I came to Asia for 6 months, 6 years ago. So, you know, it's kind of how it goes, you know. But yeah.
And where are you right now?
I'm in South Korea. I was just in the Philippines.
Yeah, I thought so.
Last month. Yeah, I was in the Philippines last month. I'm in South Korea now, and I'll be back in the Philippines this summer. So, so yeah, we'll cross paths at some point, I'm sure.
Perfect.
I know we're kind of running out of time here. My last question is something I'm going to ask all future guests is, for you, what is the meaning of life? Like, what really is the ultimate vision and purpose for yourself?
The meaning of my life is, as of right now, is to enjoy it.
Enjoy.
It's to enjoy. It's to enjoy it, and for me, that mostly means through helping people get these transformative ideas. If you see my posts,
Yeah.
I'm basically teaching. I'm trying to give aha moments every time I post something.
Yeah.
And those moments, like because the way I say something usually on these posts, if once you hear that, you can't unfucking hear it. Your brain, like, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like slipping people a little bit of the pill. It's like, oop, I just, shit, you can't go back from hearing that. You can't unhear. Oh shit, my brain can't unhear that, and it may bother you or whatever, but it's going to change you.
No,
The
that's
meaning
good,
of my
man.
life, man, is just to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you for taking the time here, and also for being a true, authentic, politically incorrect badass that just does what he wants and says what he wants. It's super, super, you go down the news feed and you just see all the same old stuff for people like, and then you see Mitch and Gary Vaynerchuk, just, like, it's just kind of like a really cool, it's like, what's the word for it? Like a pattern interrupt, and I
Yeah.
think that's a big marketing ploy right there for people that want to kind of get more attention, just be more authentic. So,
Right.
especially in a world of mostly boring stiffs and suits, trying to be, say the right thing all the time.
Well, it's fascinating because, like, I mean, to finish off, it's like I feel like I'm just being me. So it's, to me, I don't even really notice that there's that much boring shit out there, because people are
Right.
like, wow, I love reading your posts, looking forward to your posts. And I was like, well, I'm just posting shit. Like, to me, like, I'm just some dude posting shit, but I guess I don't really realize how terrible everything else is.
Yeah, we're in our little bubble of Asian utopia out here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you up to now? How can people connect with you online, and what's going on with you in the future?
Okay, you can find me on Facebook, Mitch Miller, and we'll be moving into my entire following and everything we're doing to a public page soon. But basically, I've been working on for months now the ultimate copywriting program, because copywriting is the most important thing in online business, because funnels, Facebook ads, all that shit is fucking useless if you don't have words inside of that are persuasive. And so I want to teach people it's all about the copy. You gotta figure that shit out first. And because of that, we're making a program all about copywriting. And in fact, almost the entire reason that we did the 7-day Thailand seminar was so that we could offer those recordings as a bonus to the program, because we just want to make it the most craziest program anyone's ever seen, and just make it like such an irresistible offer that everyone buys it, and then hopefully we can start changing the industry a little bit.
Awesome. And yeah, I heard some updates from that. Did that guy get out of jail? It sounded like there was some pretty hardcore partying going on.
He got out of jail. In fact, he got out of jail the day after. We wanted to give him a lesson. He was actually our assistant and our intern, and he got put into jail. And we had a chance to bail him out on the last night. We had a party, like just a celebration at the penthouse with everybody, and he was put in jail the night before, and we were told we could bail him out. We went and visited him, and we said, no, you need to learn your lesson, bro. You're going to stay here overnight and miss the party. So that's what he did, and he got out the next day.
Wow. Yeah, it's a scary place to be in trouble, man. Asia, you don't want to mess around too much, but yeah, it's party with care, I guess, over here.
Yes, that's right, brother.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, I know you got a bunch more interviews to do here on your big marathon. So thanks a lot for taking the time. And yeah, man, looking forward to catching up more.
Sounds good. Take care, brother.
Yeah,
Talk to you
cheers.
soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.